Hello creatives! In this video, I'll share with you Warren Buffett's advice for young people who want to be rich and have a successful life. Warren Buffett is currently the fourth richest person alive. According to Forbes, he is at present worth $80.4 billion. Warren Buffett amazes millions of people with his smart approach to life and investment. The Oracle of Omaha, as he is popularly recognized, is known to be a passionate reader and a wise businessman. So, whenever he talks, people listen. Interestingly, Buffett first ventured into stock when he was 11, and by the time he was 13, he was already paying taxes. So far, the Oracle of Omaha has given at least $41 billion to charity, so he's also philanthropic. As a person and a young entrepreneur, Mr. Buffett inspires me in many ways, and his advice is just priceless. The advice I'm going to share in this video comes from Buffett's mouth, so I'm sure you'll be inspired, challenged, and educated just as I was. Tip number 1 is what differentiates the rich from the poor. Watch out for it. But before then, if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel to continue receiving great videos like this one. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can get informed every time I publish a life-changing video. Now let's get started. Number 10. It's better to hang out with people that better you. Pick out associates whose behavior is better than yours and you'll drift in that direction. Do you remember the old saying, "Show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are"? Well, that's what Warren Buffett is talking about when he's giving this advice. As a young person aspiring to get rich, you have to start associating with people with a rich man mindset. If your friends are less ambitious, drop them and start befriending people who have made it in their life or are on their way up. At least they should be better than you in attitude and ambition and push you to become like them. The takeaway: move away from guys with negative energy and start associating with those who challenge you to become the better version of yourself. Number 9. You won't keep control of your life unless you can say no. You cannot let other people set your agenda in life. You are likely to face a lot of distraction from social media and friends in your youth. Buffett warns that these distractions are not suitable for your get-rich goal. People can't always decide for you. You have to know when to say no, even if that means cutting off some relationships from your life. Even if it's too much TV or betting that's pulling you back, cut it off. The takeaway: you are in control of your life. That means you decide what direction to take. Number 8. Never depend on a single income. Make an investment to create a second chance. Rich people have multiple sources of income. Buffett, for example, owns at least 60 companies. The poor people, in contrast, are dependent on one source of income. It could be a 9-to-5 salary job or a small business that represents all of their life savings. Yes, everyone must start with a single source of income, but it doesn't have to stay that way forever. Once you make some money, however small, try to see how you can diversify and earn more. Every job and business out there is a risk, and the best way to handle risks is to spread them. In case you lose one job or one business collapses, then you can fall back on the other. The takeaway: look for a side hustle to infuse more income. Alternatively, start a small business to complement your primary income source. Number 7. I'll tell you how to become rich. Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. This is one piece of advice I take seriously, and I think you should too. Most young people tend to copy what their friends are doing. They don't want to think and be different, and according to Warren Buffett, that is not the secret to becoming wealthy. For you to become rich, you have to look at what everyone else is doing and do the opposite. For example, don't rush into buying stock when their value is high. It's at that time that the richest are selling. So what you should do is buy stocks when the value has dropped so that you can buy cheaper and wait to sell high. The takeaway: you cannot get rich by being like everyone else. You have to be different, and that means doing the opposite sometimes. Avoid herd mentality. Number 6. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. We are all living in a time when almost everyone has a smartphone, ready to take a video of you in the worst possible scenario. So you could easily see the name that you've built over years trampled on in a 5-minute silly mistake. Buffett understands that, and that's why he's advising that you protect your image. Sometimes the mistakes you make now can haunt you 10 years down the line. The takeaway: start acting responsibly today so that you won't come to regret it in the future. And once you become rich, learn to protect your image. Number 5. No matter how great the talent or effort, some things just take time. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. The problem with most young people is that they are too impatient. They have a get-rich-quick mentality, which doesn't apply to everything. Some investments take time, as Buffett advises. You may have to make a lot of sacrifices before you can taste real financial success. Just like a woman carries a pregnancy for 9 months, you may have to wait for months to see some returns. The takeaway: don't be quick to despair when things don't turn out as quickly as you would have wanted. Some things take time. Be patient. Number 4. Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. These famous words go along with another quote by Warren Buffett that says, "Never invest in a business you cannot understand." The problem with a lot of people, and not just young people, is that they are quick to invest when they have money, even without having an idea of what they're getting into. That's not wisdom, according to Buffett. The famed billionaire calls it a risk, and a risk equals ignorance. So, take time to read about the investment opportunity. Warren, for example, reads roughly 500 pages every day, and he's not the only one. Mark Cuban commits 3 hours out of the day to read. What these rich men understand is that you have to seek knowledge to make better financial decisions. The takeaway: don't take up an investment opportunity that you know nothing about. Take time to learn about it first. Number 3. Enjoy your work and work for whom you admire. It's a known fact that most people in the world hate their jobs, and some even their bosses, in equal measure. That's why Warren Buffett believes that one can't get rich that way. Yes, you might be making enough to support your family, but it's hard to grow when you don't admire who you're working for, or the brand. Or worse still, you don't like your business. You have 2 options in this case. You can choose to change your mindset and start liking your business, boss, and job. Or you can quit and find another source of income. The takeaway: don't stay at a job just because it pays the bills. You have to be passionate about what you're doing to grow. Number 2. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone else planted a tree a long time ago. What Warren Buffett is trying to say here is that you have to focus on the future. You need to set long-term goals. Mr. Buffett is advising you to start investing now so that your future generations can have a future life. Like a tree that you rest under, it's likely the person who planted it didn't have the opportunity to enjoy its shade. So, an investment doesn't always mean that you'll come to enjoy it. It may be your kids who reap the benefits. The takeaway: there is no better time to start investing than now. While investing, note that you're not just doing it for yourself, but also for the next generation. Number 1. Rule number 1: never lose money. Rule number 2: never forget rule number 1. Here comes Mr. Buffett's golden rule for investment, and my all-time favorite. The rich understand this rule, and that's why they continue getting richer. As an investor, Buffett believes in wealth preservation. He understands that riches don't come easy, and so you have to protect what you own at all cost. It doesn't mean that you never lose your investment, but you have to be smart to ensure it doesn't happen often. The Oracle of Omaha, for example, has lost a few investments over the years. However, what he does is find a way to bounce back. The takeaway: learn to protect your wealth if you want to get rich. In conclusion, it takes advice from successful people like Warren Buffett to develop the rich man mindset. I hope you can find useful advice by Buffett that you can use to achieve financial freedom. I know this video was exciting and you loved it. Check out these other exciting videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're definitely missing out. See you in the next one.